All right, ladies and gentlemen, you probably haven't seen us like this before because I vowed to never do a virtual interview. That's really not my style, but we got breaking news this morning, and I figured we had to bring it to you direct, live, in color, in real time. So I am joined with Andy Tryba and Lauren King, and you're probably wondering what the hell are they here talking about this morning? Well, if you haven't read the news, you will see that there was a big acquisition that just happened in the final mile space, and I'm excited to be joined by both these gentlemen to talk about what happened, how it happened, and what it means for the future of the final mile industry. So, gentlemen, welcome to the podcast again. Andy, welcome back.
Good to see you, Jason, as always.
Always, always. Lauren, or I call you LK, so I don't know if the people out there are gonna mind LK, but Lauren King, who is the CEO of eCourier, welcome to the podcast, sir.
Thank you very much, Jason. Appreciate
Oh,
it.
thank you for being here. So, all right, so the breaking news was we just read about CXT Software acquired eCourier. Two major platforms, major TMS systems in the final mile space that have been historical leaders in the space and have done a lot of good things for a lot of companies. So I first want just before we get into the heart of the acquisition, maybe LK, I'll start with you. Just for the people that may not be as familiar with eCourier, just maybe describe the platform, the history, kind of the breadth of it, the clients you guys have had as customers.
Absolutely. So eCourier is a mission critical courier management system that was designed specifically for last mile couriers, shippers, and 3PLs. We've been around for 26 years. We have north of 200 clients or 200 customers that span various industries, everything from medical to automotive, routed work, same day, you name it. That's our business, and we provide services in last mile end to end. So everything from order ingestion through our various APIs and connectivity integrations, all the way through to driver pay, everything in and everything in between. So if you're trying to get a product from a warehouse or a pickup location to a doorstep, we help each and every courier customer of ours with that delivery workflow end to end.
That's awesome. Awesome. And it's been around since when?
1999.
1999. Wow. Okay. So it's been around for a while. I'm not familiar. I never was a user of the product, but I would obviously see it at a lot of conferences and know a lot of folks that love the product, right? So I know that's been a long, proud history you guys have had. You've been in the role, your role for how long?
I've been in the role as CEO for the past 2.5 years, really focused on bringing innovation to the existing infrastructure that we've built at eCourier over the years.
Awesome. Awesome. And Andy, welcome back again. So I got to start with when we last were together here in Austin on our podcast, we talked about your vision for CXT software, right? I named the episode CXT Rebuilt because I knew that this was going to be a major, what you were doing, going to be a major impact in the industry that, we would see, as you said on the podcast, acquisitions and other different areas you're looking to grow in. Just talk about kind of how this deal came together and why eCourier was the right fit for you guys out the gate.
Yeah, it's a little bit cooler today than I think the last time that you and I were sweating and walking
Got
around
the mock decks
Town
on
Lake. But no, obviously, when we acquired CXT back in February, we did a big market scan, and we were thinking, all right, who are the other great platforms that are out there that would pair nicely with CXT, truly be complementary, have a very similar customer base, and can really have similar cultural values that we can bring together and drive additional scale and innovation. And eCourier was actually number one on that list even before we bought the acquisition. So we're excited, to have worked this with Lauren and the team. We obviously have been working this for several months now, so we're excited to kind of bring that out to the open, but truly bringing together amazing culturally aligned organization, two organizations that have been around for 25 plus years, know the industry inside and out. So much domain expertise, And this then enables us to drive, really the next level of scale
Yeah.
and bring the R&D total spend up and just be able to innovate for the future.
Yeah. When you talk about that merging of two enterprises been around for 25 years, right? The first thing I think about is how much knowledge you have within the teams, obviously the platforms, the systems. Um, I'm gonna go there in a second, but maybe go back to when you're, and I'm ask my own edification, right? When you're looking at an acquisition from a technology standpoint, like what are the key criteria, key things that you and your team are looking to say, this is the right fit, right? You mentioned kind of culture, things like, but I'm asking more to the technical side and also kind of the teaming piece of it as well.
Yeah, so with all acquisitions, we kind of look for three things. First and foremost is the cultural fit with the company that is actually being merged into. As you know, you can have all the great technology in the world and all the great people in the world, but if the cultures aren't aligned, then it never succeeds.
Yeah.
So after we met with Lauren and Jason and Connell and that whole team, like we were 100% convinced that they share the same ethos and they share the same passion as all the folks on the CXC side of the world. So obviously we're looking at that element of it. The second thing that we're looking at is it truly a complementary technology stack? And if you look at all of the areas that CXT has developed over the years and done the hard work modernizing, there's some parts of the platform, like we talked about last time, that are ahead in modernization, and some parts that we got some work to do yet, right? And then when I looked at the eCourier stack, it was almost the exact opposite areas that team had actually spent a bunch of time and energy modernizing than the CXT side. So it only then made a natural fit to make sure like, hey, you know what, this is the best of platform. Let's take both of these modern tools, bring those two pieces together, and then add on top of that all of the work that we're doing around AI and machine learning and things like that. So the technology stack is a big part of it. And then the third piece that we really look at, and there's obviously 10,000 more, is the customer base, right? Are you actually serving the similar customer base? And in this particular case, there's so much overlap. And over the last 25 years, we've traded customers back and forth. We're in the process of trading customers now, right? So it only makes sense, to bring these folks together. And if you look at a big part of the customer base, it is actually on the healthcare and medical side of the world. And both of us, share a large percentage of our customers there. So all three of those kind of come in to determining whether or not this is a good fit for this particular company. And man, this couldn't be a better fit than in all of those vectors and more.
Yeah, I think we talk about on our podcast, like when you do these acquisitions, you ideally want 1 + 1 = 3, right? So, okay, so from your seat, your vantage point, like you said, you've been 2.5 years in your role. I know when you first got in, you and I had talked, and we were kind of just talking about, you just kind of want to get some education on the industry and kind of, who the players were, how this whole thing worked, just to kind of get your feet up under you, right? I know, made a lot of advancements and changes the last couple of years. What about the opportunity to work with CXT was attractive to you and to your team?
I think first and foremost, it was about the scale, right? The ability to combine and bring together the best of both worlds, as Andy said, and then have a network of national couriers that have an advantage for being in that family, if you will.
Mhm.
Right. So being able to create opportunities for all of our courier partners and then also all of the shippers that are looking to us to sort of help them provide a single pane of glass to see deliveries all the way end to end. A
Mhm.
lot of large intermodal players are struggling to basically get visibility into the last mile. So when you look at the combined forces of CXT and eCourier, you're talking about 500 plus couriers out there that you now have visibility into, and that's very attractive to shippers. That's very attractive to couriers and 3PLs. So it was a natural fit, if you will. And that's what's really exciting about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. We often don't think about that visibility and how, with all the technology that I know when I was even operating, right, all the new advancements you have, every time you go to a conference, you talk to a shipper, and it's like they want to use their platform because they want one singular view, a vantage point into the supply chain, right? But the carrier side, we're like, well, like shit, got to get another app, got to download here, got another platform, got to upload that into, right? So this integration, I think, does have a lot of benefits for from the lowest part of the supply chain all the way up to the shipper, as you kind of alluding to. And I want to go into the stack, right? So you were talking about kind of what you saw as some of the strengths of eCourier, maybe versus some of the weaknesses or opportunities for CXT. Like let's go deeper into the tech side of it. Um I'm wondering if I was an eCourier customer right now, I'm wondering, okay, what is going to change, I guess, about the way I operate today, and what's going to be kind of the vision for bringing these solutions together.
Yeah, so obviously we got a lot of work to do to ensure that we really look at the features on both platforms and truly assemble the best of both worlds, right? Where we want to make sure that customers, are really excited about this next generation platform that we're building together. And obviously we're going to take various components from the various parts that are really, really strong, right? Where I think of, again, back on the eCourier side of it, I mean, amazing work on this analytics dashboard that the team has done, amazing work on some of the end user portals and what have you, amazing work on, the integrations and what have you. And then CXT has done a great job on the driver app and the operations and some of the AI dispatch and some of the other interesting things that we're doing around AI holistically. So, it's a little early yet to be like saying, hey, this is the exact platform that we're moving forward with. But there are so many great components now that we have to choose from that we can assemble into that best stuff. Now, I do want to make sure that customers are, very clear though, like, hey, listen, we are going to make sure that we maintain your current platform as is for an extended period of time, right? Several years. And we want to convince you that this next generation version is where you want to bet your business on for the next 10, 20 years, right? So we're not going to be doing anything abnormal to kind of force fit anyone into one platform or the other. But we are really excited about the roadmap as a whole. And as we go further into the engineering and as we do our executive business reviews with the various customers, we'll definitely disclose more details on the technical side as we go and make those calls.
Yeah. And speaking of those customers, right? So, and either one you can jump in and answer this, but maybe Elke, I'll start with you. So, I would imagine during some of the due diligence process, right? You're talking to, at some point, you're maybe bringing some of the maybe the top customers into this conversation. Say, hey, here's what we're thinking. What would your reaction be to this, right? So maybe if you can share, what was some of the feedback you may have received from some of those clients that you spoke to in this process?
Andy, would you care to go?
Oh, yeah, sure. So the conversations so far have been phenomenal. Like just tons and tons of excitement because I think that they see the vision also where, they see the vision that we're trying to make a next generation platform and bringing, some of the best folks within the industry together help us get there from a scale perspective, from a technology perspective. And obviously we're going to keep going also where sometimes we'll build the technology, sometimes we'll acquire the features and put it in, but they're really excited to be with a company that is looking out for the industry and really kind of setting it up for the next 20 years. So every customer that I've spoken to, and I know that Lauren and I have synced on the customers that he's picked up the phone and talked to, they've all been super excited. And obviously we got to get out there and make a lot of the hard decisions on as far as that next generation platform. But I think holistically they love the scale and they love the fact that we can also now, as Lauren mentioned, do new business models that they hadn't even thought of before, whether it be on the shipper side or whether it be kind of an aggregated marketplace or whatever else it may be. So that's been my experience so far. I don't know, Lauren, if you want to talk about customers that you've spoken to.
Absolutely. Equally excited on the eCourier side. Like CXT is a known entity for pretty much every one of the eCourier customers, and the same is true on the CXT side. So when these customers hear the story of like the top two brands in the TMS space coming together, they're just excited beyond belief because they know that you're talking about 50 plus years of combined experience and expertise, as well as a doubling of the engineering resources, right, in order to accelerate the innovation that we'll be able to bring to the marketplace. So they are truly encouraged and are looking forward to seeing the new unified best of platform out there.
Yeah, I want to. You mentioned engineers. I want to go there, but the team aspect is something that, and when we talked about this on the podcast, we I think a lot of times, and it's a shame, but sometimes the people side is these equations get overlooked, right? So one, just kind of what will be the role of some of the top executives kind of from eCourier as it relates to the transition? I'm assuming LK is going to be on it because he wouldn't be on this on this interview with us if he wasn't. So I think you're safe. Joking aside, like what is what's you mentioned you have doubling number of engineers, right? When we talked, Andy, you had already increased the number of engineers significantly at CXT. As you look to the future and the capacity you need to execute your vision, what does that teaming piece look like as you integrate?
Yeah, no, sure. So that's one of the beauties of bringing these two companies together is the strength of the talent that we had on both of our companies. As Lauren mentioned, 50 years of combined experience is a significant experience, and we've got both have people on our staffs that have been at the company for greater than 20 years, right? So you really start bringing together that, and it's a truly unique situation that is really spectacular. So. Our model is always to integrate fully the two organizations and to really ensure that it's one team. So it's not like here's the eCourier team and here's the CXT team and we've already kind of started that integration cycle. So our good friend Lauren will now be president of the combined entity, for example. The former CTO is now heading up all the engineering and SaaS and QA across both organizations, and we're really feathering in both organizations to make sure that everyone is one team and one dream. And I know that the organization is really excited already on sharing some of those best known methods because it doesn't matter who you are. There's best known methods across the board. So if we can kind of bring all that in with the industry experience and now with the capital, we can kind of take it to that next level. And then as you mentioned on the engineering side, yeah. So when we came into CXT originally, we doubled the size of that engineering team, and now we're gonna kind of double the size of that again, right? So like now we've got a lot of folks in there to really focus on innovation, really go focus on doing the right things for the customers and ensuring that we can get set up for the next decade or two.
It's kind of like you mentioned, like two big players, right? 50 plus years combined experience. This is, I think, the only thing we've seen in the space, at least my recent history, is like the on track and Lasership. When the acquisition was made, which brought two big super regional carriers together to create this network, and now you see them kind of moving that network more in the middle of the country to give them that the scale and that capacity that they need from an operation standpoint. Um, when you look at the future, next 3, 5 years out, and I would like both of your thoughts on this. Maybe I'll start with you, Andy. When you combine these together, like what do you see happening as a result of this type of converging of two, really very well positioned companies with a lot of technical and expertise and also relationships in this industry?
Yeah, I would say two things I'm really excited about on bringing it together in that sense. Right, one is obviously, as you mentioned, you start really bringing together decades and decades of experience and a bunch of great ideas come out of that mind melt. Right, things that we hadn't even really thought of or had the capital to go do in the past, and new business models that we can offer our customers. New ideas on how we actually look at all the data that we collectively have over the last 25 years of doing business together, and how do we go pull that together to be able to help educate new couriers coming in, or be able to go out there and drive and help drive the decisions on a regional basis. So all kinds of great things happen when you get that much domain experience together, and that's really really exciting. But I think also when you think about what we can do for customers, right? Where you start with there was so much capital being spent on kind of modernizing both platforms. So, combine that together, take what's already been modernized, and then you can go and focus on all the new great things that we can integrate into the platform around, like I mentioned, machine learning and AI, computer vision, and all these LLMs and all these things that we can accelerate into the platform now that we can kind of choose the best of both worlds. So I think that the sky's the limit, and we're going to keep going, right? And this isn't the last that you're going to see. You're going to see us, continue to be aggressive and organically forming this platform, but then also, looking at other acquisitions that we then tuck in on the feature set side of the world, or expansion into other markets that make sense for our customers. But it will always be revolving around what makes sense for our customers and how do we offer more value to our customers.
Yeah. I think when you stick to that focus, right, I think that's where you find most of your success, right? It's kind of that core base of the carriers, and where their greatest needs are is to have a TMS platform that can obviously handle the challenges today, but also kind of as we see the world changing for tomorrow. Okay, just your thoughts on that same question. Kind of just you mentioned that you're gonna have 500 customers now combined in a single platform solution, right? What do you think that means for the marketplace?
So, outside of the reach and the scale that it affords shippers, I think that there is also an opportunity for interconnectedness, between these couriers. Like the idea of intersystem transfers that can enable agent relationships more seamlessly. You can have things where you have a series of 5 or 10 different courier partners that are operating as agents, and how we can facilitate a smooth transition of orders and jobs across people to create growth opportunities when you're trying to step into new markets. I think that, and just our focus on APIs and anything at all that will create a network effect. I think those will be some extremely big game changers for the industry that we're excited to bring forward.
Yeah, that's a really excellent point, because look, one of the challenges I had, and one of the reasons why we ultimately I went to my parents and said I think it's time for us to exit the business is, we were operating based out of New Orleans. We were covering the southern part of Mississippi, a little bit into Texas, and we had some agent partners in other parts of the country. But the tea leaves I was reading were like the customers, the shippers, they wanted to have a carrier that can operate across a region, right? And I don't see that changing. I think you can continue to see that as same day, final mile, last mile continues to grow, right? I think there's a natural kind of consolidation there, and because we're now able to service bigger shippers, bigger providers than what we could do historically. Um,
Right.
that network effect, that connectedness, and maybe Andy, I'll bring you into this, right? Because you have a background in kind of doing the people side of this, right? We talked in the podcast, right? From your kind of what you created here from the People Network. When you think about the power of that, right? So now a shipper, right? Take, XYZ shipper, they can potentially be able to plug in to a single TMS and access a network of providers all on a single platform, right? Kind of like when I sold to Drop Off, right? That was one of the value props of Drop Off, who I know is now a customer of CXT, would say we can give the customer the same experience in New Orleans as in Atlanta, as in Charlotte, North Carolina, right? So what is that? I want to just get your thoughts on that same point. Like, how do you see that playing out in the future?
Yeah, no, absolutely. When you think about these shippers, they are often dealing with, tens, hundreds, sometimes thousands of different couriers that are out there, and actually aggregating all that information together is a challenge for them. But equally so, there's, as you know, lots of couriers out there that would love to be a part of whatever shipper network, as they continue to grow and what have you. And today they got to go in there and do this RFQ and bid on business and maybe have to know someone or whatever else it may be, right? So if we can kind of set up this marketplace type of a model where we can enable folks to, be entrepreneurs and plug into that and, and sort everything from a technology side to help them with the driver side, the insurance side, the payment side, even all the way down to the quality itself, within the delivery and all that information back via APIs. And all of a sudden, people can really become entrepreneurs, right? They can expand their businesses in an easier way. And I think that we are uniquely positioned to be able to go deliver a true end-to-end marketplace across the US, but then ideally in the future, even across the globe.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about it. It's I think it's needed in this space, right? Because I think you smaller operators, right, are struggling somewhat to compete against some of the larger ones, because of that lack of scalability, or just maybe the network that they can't quite cover just from a geographical standpoint. So I think a solution like this will obviously unlock some opportunities for them that maybe they can't necessarily tap into today. So super excited for that, and super excited for the folks listening to this podcast that watch it. Like, hey, it's a great value proposition that you could potentially have on the table. I want to just maybe a couple more questions here before we wrap up. What are the challenges or risk with a acquisition like this? Right, this is obviously it's kind of like you go big or go home, right? So this is obviously a big bet you're making here. Like, when you look at it from your standpoint, Andy, kind of what maybe could go wrong here, and how do you kind of mitigate against some of those concerns?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to tease out what the big potential rocks are, even before you actually close the acquisition. So, Lauren and I and team have been working pretty hard over the last several months here, really teasing out a lot of that. But historically, in the past, when I've seen failures, again, it does come around culture, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes when you bring together, two platforms that have been battling each other for a couple of decades each, right? Sometimes there's bad blood in there,
Yeah,
right? And so we had to kind of really tease that out and ensure that that wasn't the case, and unfortunately it wasn't, right? So I think that that's one check that we could avoid. And then same deal with the customer segments. Like, sometimes you have an idea on bringing two companies together, but if they serve two wildly different segments and really the products are completely different, and bringing them together, it's not really the best stuff. It's really more just combining a couple of pieces together, and that wasn't the case here either. I mean, there's so many similarities and so many things that eCourier does great, and so many things that CXT does great. So I think that a lot of those things were kind of taken care of in diligence, but that doesn't mean that there's still not tons and tons of hard work to go, right? So we've got to go and make sure that we go out to our customers and get them really excited about the combined vision. We got to make sure that we staff up the team with the best of, and make sure that we operate in the discipline that we know how to operate, with lead metrics and lag metrics, and making sure that this efficient machine that we run here can go and produce what we need to go produce out to customers and things like that. And it's always hard, right? Because, obviously Lauren and the eCourier team kind of ran their company a certain way, and the CXT guys ran a certain way. So you got to bring together systems and tools
Mhm.
and processes and people, and staff up in areas that, you haven't perhaps had the right expertise on both sides. So all of those things have to occur now. And but the good news is that, again, if you're on that bed of the right culture, that helps go build that trust. And I think we've done this 25 times now, so I think that we've got
Not
a
your first
few
rodeo.
marks on our back on things what not to do. So hopefully we can avoid a lot of that. But with anything, it's a people business, as you said, at the end of the day, and you got to make sure that people are excited, that the team is
Yeah,
excited, but they're clear on where the North Star is.
yeah. Okay, what Andy, talking about team, like, if what's your message to your team, now, kind of now this has come out, so there's some excitement, and I know when I sold my business, it was some trepidation, like, what happens next? Like, what is your message to your team that you've been battling with for the last couple of years, and getting to a position where you can have this type of opportunity?
Yeah, I mean,
The
this is what we've been preparing for, right? For since February, right? And we said from day one, hey guys, like, get the platform ready so that we can, bolt on a bunch more things in here and drive more scale, drive even higher levels of innovation, right? So literally since February, we've been, really updating kind of the underlying toolkits that that the company runs on, from CRMs, ERPs, and all that other good jazz. Making sure that we staff up with the right level of executives that have experience acquiring companies and integrating companies and what have you, and making sure that, the team is ready to go bring on, additional complexity, which is what, obviously acquisitions do in the near term. And then you can lead to the scale that is great for the organization as a whole. So the team's super excited. Lauren and I, just went through and did an all hands with both organizations, and the level of excitement that Lauren drove into the CXT team and the eCourier team, hopefully, felt the same from me, since we kind of, jumped into each other's. It's been great. And the teams are leaning in, and the fact that we're feathering in, the athletes together to create, this all-star team that has all that experience has really been a ton of fun to date. There's obviously lots and lots of integration and hard work that the team has to go do from here. But it's been nothing but excitement so far. And there's emotional journeys, because things get hard no matter how you slice it. But if we can go out there and be transparent, if we can have radical candor and make sure that that we're saying it how it is, then we can make this happen, just as we have in the past. So that's my thoughts, Lauren. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams are tremendously curious, right? And so they are so eager to hear and see exactly what the best of looks like in each of the platforms, because we've been competitors for so long. We don't really and truly understand, like, in the nuts and bolts of it all, like, what do you do better than us, and what do we do better than you do? And so the curiosity is there. I believe it really starts there. And it's the same way we approach our customers, right? In terms of understanding exactly where the problems are. And then we rely on the expertise and experience that the team collectively has to design the best sort of outcome or solution for that problem. So, the challenge, I think that was your original question. What is the challenge that I've been sort of talking to the team about, and how this acquisition makes it different? The reality is the absolute focus and support for innovation that Ionic brings to the table, in terms of the capital, the investment, the vision. Like, it is now a shared entity, a shared vision, and it's properly supported. So the innovation is inevitable. It is coming, and it is real. It is palpable. The team is excited, and I look forward to when there's another square on this on the podcast, and we're announcing something new and exciting pretty soon. So looking forward to that.
We got plenty of room on the screen here, so we can add a few more squares to it. Last question, gentlemen. I appreciate you guys being generous with your time. And okay, I'll start with you, Andy. We'll finish with you. A year from now, and maybe it's 2 years from now. I know there's going to be some runway to kind of fully, run through the integration process. There's a lot of work, as you said, and the kind of the fun part begins now, right? But a year from now, what is the storyline? What's the headline that comes out of this acquisition that we're talking about today?
Yeah,
I put you on the spot, so I don't know.
No, I'm thinking out loud. It'll be about the innovation that we've been able to introduce, and how we've established ourselves as the clear sort of market leader with regards to our ICP, right? And right now, it's focused heavily on the medical space. And so being able to support all of the logistics healthcare companies out there that are looking for a single sheet of glass, or API interconnectedness that accesses, the 500 plus couriers that we have in the network. I think that will be a really appealing and compelling story that we'll be able to talk about a year from now or 2 years from now. Andy?
Yeah, so when I think about a year from now, and when we look back, I want to believe that we said, hey, wow, look at how much faster we've been now able to accelerate our autonomous TMS vision, right? We're now, building, this is just a step function, and building and the speed in which we can go and build all of the autonomy and AI into the system around the dispatch side of the world, around the driver and that vertical stack, and around all of the operations app, around all of the end customer side, around all of the dashboarding, how we've integrated AI into all of that, how we've kind of been able to truly make it one step towards the full autonomy vision that we have. And I think that, we will look back and say, thank goodness that we brought this together, because not only have we been able to accelerate that end state vision, we then also have been able to innovate in new market models, such as the marketplace that we talked about and others. So, I think that, it's going to be really exciting. I think that whenever you bring two amazing companies with amazing history like this together, with the capital and with the right people inside running the organization, with the right capital behind it to go drive innovation, magic can happen. And I think that our customers in the courier space and the shipper space have been looking for really this level of investment to go into their system of record, to go into their software stack, and to really bring that level of innovation. And I think that this is the first of hopefully many that we get to go out there and say, wow, look at how much faster we've been able to bring that innovation into play.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great synopsis of it. And we talk about, being athletes. We love, kind of what sports and athletics brings to professional life. Um, it's a saying in sports, right? Some people talk it, some people walk it. And certainly from what you shared, with us in the audience, when we first met, we're seeing some of the fruits of that labor, and you're certainly walking it. So, super excited for you and your team. LK, super excited for you guys, and kind of the opportunity to bring these two entities together to achieve that ultimate vision. Because look, the reality is this landscape and last mile is changing, right underneath us. And I think these types of innovations, these types of steps forward are going to help propel this industry to where we need to be at to meet that kind of demand, to meet that challenge that's coming ahead. Because it's called last or first for a reason, because I truly believe this sector has every opportunity in front of it to go from last in supply chain to first. And I appreciate you guys kind of giving us the opportunity to kind of share the story and share this announcement, and continued success, and congrats again to both of you.
Thank you, Jason.
Thanks, Jason. This is it's been fun as always, and I know this is a different format than you normally do, but I think that I like that.
I got these little white marks around me here to the background. I'm not quite used to this. I'm an energy guy, so I like to be in person. But hey, like you said, like when the opportunity knocks, you better open the door up. So I appreciate you giving us the opportunity, and we gotta do it again, right? So I think it'd be pretty cool to maybe come back and jump on, 6 months from now, and kind of give an update to the industry of where we are in this process. I think as we're going into conference season coming up here, first part of the year, I know I'll see you guys at CLD and ECA and some other conferences. So I think it'd be great to have you guys back on and share some updates.
Definitely. And Lauren's going to be spending a decent amount of time here with you and I in Austin here.
I was going to say, are you moving to the ATX or what? We come here.
My arm is being twisted. I'm working on it.
That's how they got me too. That's how they got me here.
I'm not sure I can convince my wife though. She loves the sweater weather.
Yeah, well, I know one place I can help her go to, and that'll do all the convincing she needs.
Okay. All right.
All right, guys. Well, look, it's a pleasure, and we'll do this again. But again, congrats and much success. And for the audience out there who's checking this out for the first time, check out the press release that came out this morning. You get all the details there. And if you are a prospective customer or looking in the industry for a key player, obviously you want to look towards CXT and what they're doing in the marketplace. Phenomenal company doing many, many great things. So that's the first podcast. We're out. Thanks, guys.